Everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to review the film Encanto. This is a movie I've been meaning to see for some time. Shout out to my niece who recommended this film. Just took me a long time to finally check it out, but I got to see it in theaters. It's still in theaters. This is a movie that came out back, I think, November 2021. Didn't get off to the best start in the movie theaters. Got released on Disney Plus and became a big hit. A lot of people really loved it, and it has now been in theaters for the longest time as it continues to do well, make good money, getting a lot of really good responses. So I finally got to check it out, and I'm gonna give my thoughts on Encanto.
Many years ago, this candle blessed our family with a miracle. Our house, our casita, came to life with magic.
Hola, casita.
Let's go!
This movie tells the story of a family that basically has superpowers, basically the X-Men, except not the X-Men, it's the Madrigals, and they live in Colombia in a magical house, a vibrant town. It's a beautiful place called Encanto, and the magic in that house has blessed every child. This is called a gift. Every child has had the gift except for whatever reason one, and that's Mirabel. Mirabel does not have the magic. She doesn't have the gift. She's just a normal person. But when things get crazy, she might be the last hope for the family and the one who needs to save the family.
But Mama, why am I the only one that didn't get a gift?
You're just as special as anyone else in this family.
You just healed my hand with an arepa con queso.
Right off the bat, it's a really good movie. I don't think there's any doubt about that. A very solid story. The different characters are interweaved in the story very nicely. There's a lot of awesome characters with very interesting powers, gifts, if you will, and I really enjoyed that about it. Obviously, if you look here, just what you see behind me, the animation is very beautiful, very colorful, very vibrant, and it's funny. I found myself laughing out loud pretty hard multiple times throughout this film. So I'm going to get into all those positives, and I'll get into any little nitpicks I have as well. I have to say, though, I'm not a huge fan of musicals in general, because I tend to get into a story, get into a plot, and then when everyone just starts busting out in song, I find it really weird. Didn't love all the songs, but I liked the songs. They're solid, but the one that I really liked is definitely We Don't Talk About Bruno. We Don't Talk About Bruno's a freaking bomb. I find myself just singing. I'll be editing a video, and they're going to say, we got to put this here. We don't talk about Bruno, Bruno, no. But the rest of the songs were pretty good as well. I mean, I wasn't blown away by most of them, but I really liked that one. That was definitely my favorite song. But I thought the story was magnificent. And Bruno, speaking of Bruno, you know, his role in the film, just unbelievable. You know how this is a guy who can see the future, but people are starting to really not care for him that much because, you know, he seems like a bad luck guy, because when he tells the future and it's negative, yeah, we ain't trying to hear all of that. And then when it happens, you almost feel like Bruno caused it. You said this was going to happen, then it happened, man.
We gotta get out of here! We must protect our home. We must protect our family.
So he basically gets ostracized, which is pretty jacked up, pretty messed up, you know, if you think about it. That's pretty deep right there, that he's gone. He doesn't show up anymore, and nobody really cares. In fact, they don't even talk about it. That's what the song's about. We don't talk about Bruno, and that's just insane. I like that it shows the process of one of the kids getting their gift, so we get to see actually how that works instead of just hearing about it. And it's this little boy who gets the gift that he can talk to animals, so he becomes Dr. Dolittle, and he's able to talk to all the animals. And some of the gifts are kind of annoying for the family because one girl's got a rain cloud over her head all the time, because she's like the dramatic type, always either has a rain cloud over her head or something going on, always a storm, or maybe she's in a cheerful mood and then, you know, it gets a bright sunshine over her head. But most of the time she's the dramatic type. So that's pretty cool. Really interesting. The gifts are really cool in this one, and they kind of are weaved in the story pretty nicely. There's one guy who can shapeshift, become whatever he wants. Now that they didn't really put that in the plot too much other than for comedic effect, but like, you know, they didn't have time to, you know, put every person's gift as part of the plot. So, but that was pretty cool. And there's definitely room for a sequel, and they can maybe utilize the shapeshifter a little bit more in the plot or something like that. For this film, they're the one girl that can hear. She can hear everything and I really like that character. She plays an important role in the plot when she overhears something she's not supposed to hear. Up there at the top, you see Louisa picking up the donkey with her superhuman strength. Another awesome character, another awesome gift. So it's really cool. All the gifts are unique and pretty. I mean, I wouldn't say super unique. I mean, we've probably seen them in some superhero movie somewhere, but overall, it's still pretty cool, and how it's weaved into the story very nicely. It all matters, and that's really cool. It's a family you get behind, and the story progresses when Mirabel sees the house start cracking. She runs to her grandma. She, grandma, something's going on. The grandma runs to check it out, and everything looks fine, but she knows, Mirabel knows, and she's the one without any power. She knows something's going on, so she's got to investigate this, figure out what is going on. There's also Isabella, that's the sister of Mirabel, and she is a character you might not like a lot. She is Miss Perfect, okay, Señora Perfecta. She's absolutely perfect. She can control plants and make plants grow, but yeah, she's just known as being absolutely perfect. Much to the chagrin, obviously, of Mirabel, because Mirabel finds her very annoying, and she's not very nice. She might be perfect, she's not very nice. So as she starts digging into what's wrong, what's going on with the house, are people losing their powers? It looks like, Louisa's starting to get a little weaker. She's even complaining like she's not as strong as she used to be. What's going on? And that's what the story's about. Not going to get deep into spoilers, but I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was a very solid story, and there's an important message in this story. And, good family movie. You're not your typical movie where, you're going to have, Mirabel doesn't have a boyfriend or anything, gonna become a princess, nothing like that. It's definitely a unique story, and it's a fun ride. It's really enjoyable. If you like musicals, I think you'll really love it, because the music is it's a lot of fun, even despite the fact that I don't love musicals. I don't like when song busts out in the middle of the plot when I'm into it, because that's not very natural, but other than that, it's a musical. That's what it's about. It probably helps a little bit that it's, animated, but still. But there are a couple things, like the way the movie kicks off. You have grandma, a young version of the grandma, and she's, with her 3 kids there she's carrying. Her husband is there, and there's some attack. Something happens. It's shown briefly. There's a little bit of flashback later, but I wanted a little bit more backstory there to find out what was going on. I think this movie could have been longer. I think it would have been better for it. I do understand it's extremely expensive to make, so they probably were trying to maximize profits and also make a good movie that doesn't take 2.5 hours. I can understand that, but I thought there could be a little more backstory to that beginning, and to grandma's past and her husband, and what exactly happened. Where'd the magic exactly come from? Maybe it was explained. I'm sure it was, but I never really caught what is this? Why did they get gifted with this? And the entire thing. I like the concept. I just don't know where it came from. I wish there was a little more explanation in the backstory. Again, I'm sure it was glossed over at some point, but I kind of missed it. So I thought there could be more backstory, and I was actually interested in it. I loved that opening scene, and I kind of wanted some more of that, but it busted really quick into the modern day with Mirabel going on a song where she's singing extremely fast. I couldn't understand crap. By the way, that first song, I was lost. I guess that's the way that movie kicked off at first was awesome for a couple minutes, and then with that first song, I was like, oh crap, I don't think I'm gonna understand anything in this movie. But it turned out that wasn't the case. That was probably the only time that happened. The rest of it I could follow pretty easily. And I really like also the fact Mirabel, she talks like a real 15, 16, I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but she talks like, everyone talks, and I'm not sure where this movie, when it's supposed to take place. It doesn't seem like it's 2022, but still, for everyone watching, younger people watching, you can kind of get the sense that everybody talks like, younger people would talk nowadays. So I just wish there was a little more backstory to it. I mean, that's a good complaint. If you say, I wish it was a little longer, I wish there was more, that's the only thing I can say. Other than that, the very end of the movie has a pretty good climax, pretty awesome scenes. It gets, even a little bit of, I wouldn't say horror, like you're not going to be scared or anything, but it does have some dark moments to it. Things get pretty intense, and it's got a lot to offer. I think it's a pretty good movie. The cast does great. Very funny movie. Pretty much everything you want to have a good time at the movies. I would highly recommend it, or at home on Disney Plus, whatever. Check out Encanto. I'd highly recommend it. A lot of fun. It's got a good message in it, good humor, And there's really not a lot of negatives, you know, other than just my personal taste. Some people, this is going to be a masterpiece for some people. For me, I'm going to say it's a great film. I mean, in my eyes, it's not a masterpiece, but it's really good and great. And I would highly recommend Encanto. Check this one out. I appreciate the recommendation. And I'll definitely be owning this one if it comes out, and if it comes out on Blu-ray. I'll have this as in my collection, but you can also see it on Disney Plus, of course. Disney's Encanto. Good job, Disney. I don't get to say that often. Not a huge fan of Disney lately, so I do appreciate this film, though. Really good. You guys have a great day. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to you next time.